Hi, I'm JimmyNavio.
Hello there. Excuse me. Hopefully there's not too much of that. Sorry. For the last couple weeks, I have been sick. Lady Navio and I have been chugging down the NyQuil and sleeping a lot. So, yeah, we missed a couple weeks of podcasts there. And tonight we're doing it on Tuesday because tomorrow I'm getting on a plane for Florida. I'm going to go do some nerd shit. Going to a code conference for my day job. Going to go present some stuff to people. And so we wanted to get a podcast, and it's not going to be a long one. I couldn't go another week without getting one in. So I asked James if he'd be down. We'll just talk about a couple things tonight, get one out for you guys. Before I bring him on though, the usual business stuff. We are recording this live on Twitch, twitch.tv/JimmyNavio. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening on your phone, in your podcast app or whatever, and you want to come participate, all you got to do is come over to twitch.tv/JimmyNavio. Usually it's Wednesday night at 6 p.m. I say that, but lately I feel like it's been kind of all over the place. We're going to get back on track. So please, if you want to come participate, come follow the channel so you know when we go live and you can come hang out and chat. Also, we have a YouTube channel. The link is down in the description. If you want to give us a little subscription, that'd be cool. I appreciate it. Everything counts. Also, reminder, once we record it live on Twitch, it does go out on Apple Podcasts. It goes out on Google Play, on Spotify. It's all over the place. So if you just Google Hit the Bucket Podcast, or you can go to hitthebucketpodcast.com and you can find it. It's out there. We have spread our tentacles far and wide. Also, if you like what we're doing here, I implore you, I beg of you to rate it and maybe like give it a review or whatever, on those, I guess, on those sites you can rate them and review them and whatever. That would help out a lot too. Just help us get noticed a little bit and maybe get some more people listening. And if you want to reach out to us for any reason, you can hit us up at hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you if you've got a guest idea, if you've got a complaint, if I said something that's completely fucking stupid and you want to call me out, or you want to tell James how sexy he is and take him out to dinner, you can email us at hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com and we will reply, I promise. So yeah, do it. So that's it. I think that's all the important business stuff. So let's bring on James and let's have a little chat. Yep. Hello, sir.
Hello? Is it time?
It's time.
Am I on the air?
You are.
Well, hello there.
So yeah, I hope you're ready for all those sexy, steamy emails from the your voice is I'm gonna build an audience around your voice.
Oh, I thought you were about to reference all that tax talk I was doing earlier.
No,
all those sexy tax emails. Tax season's coming up, guys.
I told everyone if they want to take you out to dinner, they can email hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. So be ready. You're gonna start getting some offers.
Always a fan of free food. You want into my heart? Easiest way right there.
Yeah, straight through the stomach. So yeah, speaking of tax talk, you're still deep in it?
Oh yeah. I've been for about like 3 weeks now. I've been going down to a little firm called CVOEO and basically helping people do their taxes. Free, of course. It's volunteer work that I'm forced to do as part of my major.
I love the idea of being forced to volunteer. That's always
If you don't complete the 40 hours they require of you, you can't graduate. So you're pretty much forced. My teacher brought she had the example of a guy missed it by 1 hour, and they couldn't let him graduate because it was a 40-hour minimum. So he basically had to go and find like another firm in like another state to get that final hour.
So he had 39 hours of volunteer work and he couldn't get it done in time.
People live their own lives. It's crazy.
That's
But
madness.
like for me, it's real easy. I just do 2 hours Wednesday, Thursday, and that's it. 10 weeks, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm already on the 4th week, so it's like not even an issue.
I'm proud of you for not procrastinating it, James.
I'm not allowed to. He just emailed me. He was like, all right, James, here's your hours. I expect you to come in, 15 minutes early to get settled, and then 2 hours, you're here. I was like, all right. And it starts at 9. I don't wake up before 8 a.m. on any other day other than those 2 days. I hate it.
Yeah. How close are you now to graduating? Besides this volunteer work, like you got a couple classes left? Or you're getting pretty close, right?
Yeah, I'm a junior now. So I'm in my 2nd semester of junior year. So come May, I'll just have 1 year left.
That's got to be pretty exciting.
Time flies. It feels like just yesterday I got to this school and I was like, man, 4 years, that's going to be a while. And now it's towards the end of my 3rd year. And I'm like, I got to get a job now. I got to start paying off this debt. What happened?
Out of the frying pan and into the fire. It's funny, like the whole grass is always greener thing. I remember when I was in college and I was like, man, I can't wait till I can just like get a job as a programmer and just have a normal schedule and blah blah blah. But now I look back, I'm like, man, I miss college. Like that's always the case though. That's like
Yeah, especially for me, I'm like, all right, I got to set my own schedule. I have like, if I plan it correctly, I'll have this much free time. Here's the work I have to do. And then now I'm going to lose that. I'm going to have to do the normal 9 to 5, start paying off my debt, which it's like, I'd like to have a job because right now my finances are kind of poor. And it's like, I'd like to have some disposable income. So I'm actually looking forward to it. But the whole like job search and knowing I'm going to have to move into that 9 to 5 schedule, I'm like, I'm not looking forward to that. With the money, I like getting paid for the services I provide.
Money is nice. Money is definitely a big motivator. So, I mean, but it's something that you're confident in and you're good at. So, I mean, do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I didn't think I'd enjoy the volunteer work like this much, but it's very much like these people come in. We only provide the service to people that make under less than $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
So they come in, it's like families, and they come and sit down. They're like, oh, here's my W-2s. Like, here's my social security. Here's like some other stuff, my health insurance. I'm like, oh, right. Let me like get this all sorted for you. It takes me like half an hour, like at the latest. And then at the end, I'm just like, all right, well, tax returns done. Here's how much your refund is. Thanks for coming in. Hope we see you here next year. And I send them on their way, and then they're just happy.
Pretty reasonable. Have you had any crazies though? Have you had any people come in and they're like, what do you mean I owe $1,000?
See, I was expecting to ask that kind of question. Luckily, not yet. I've had a few people say, but this refund's a lot smaller than last year. And those ones I'm like, what do you want me to do? I can't I just inputted what you gave me. I can't make more money up here. And then part of my job is actually like explaining some of the reasoning. So I'm like, I keep that idea in my head. What I actually say is I'm just like, well, did you bring last year's tax return? And of course they say no. So I'm like, well, if you brought last year's tax return, we can actually compare the numbers, see like where the differences might have been. Luckily, they never come back. Like they're just like, all right, he did it. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
Sometimes the big thing is like, oh, like this was less than I expected, or it was less than last year. And then part of my job is like explaining why. So it's like, oh, well, there were a lot of tax changes last year. The withholdings got smaller. So maybe that's why they withheld less. So you got less back. So, like that. Or one person in particular was like, well, I got like $500 more last year. And then I look through it. I'm like, well, you see, you were self-employed a bit this year. And that's like, that took all your refund because there's a self-employment tax. So I'm like, that one's when it's easy for me to explain why. Usually no issues. Right. When I can't really explain like what really happened, I'm just like, it's out of my control. I'm just a volunteer. Stop yelling at me, please. But luckily no one's yelled yet.
Yeah.
It's usually just like a family, like she has a kid and she's like, oh, well, that's less than last year. I don't know how we'll survive this year. And I'm like, I can't help you.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation. And then they say, "Hey, I got less this year than last year," and that's when you look them in the eyes and you say, "Well, did you vote for Trump?"
I'm like, we're actually not supposed to ask this kind of question. We're not supposed to bring it in. But it's like, technically, yeah. It's like, well, did you vote for Trump? It's part of his tax changes. You inadvertently caused this to yourself.
Yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, like Lady Navio's return was smaller, and like because I've been doing this long enough that we're able to go in and kind of look at. I'm not a tax professional like you, but you can see where the differences are, and you're like, hey, I didn't get as much back on this category as I did last year. And then when you know the details about some of the stuff that was in his tax plan that he passed. Not to get political, but it wasn't.
Come on, Jimmy. You just had to get that deduction from your private jet.
Yeah, no, it wasn't as friendly to the middle class as everyone thought it was going to be. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully, I mean, and there were other factors as well. Last year she got an incentive, like one of the Obama things for like hybrids. There was like a couple $1,000s like she got for like.
Yeah, like a rebate.
Yeah, it was a rebate for getting a plug-in hybrid or whatever, and I had to remind her that, hey, you didn't get that this year. She's like, oh yeah, so there's a few. Yeah,
it's funny like how much I have to remind people of stuff like that, because I'll finish their tax return, they have like all their papers with them, and then I'm like going through like their W-2s and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, so I don't see like like your landlord certificate here. Like, were you gonna do a renter's rebate, like get money back on that? And they're like, oh, I like forgot about that. And I'm like, you really need to do that. That's actually like a lot of money.
Yeah. And like
so sometimes you help out a lot.
Well, and like big purchases and medical expenses, like a lot of people just completely don't even think about that. It's like, yeah, everything you spent on did you buy a car? Like, did you renew your registration on your car? Like anything, like all that stuff matters. And like a lot of times people just don't even think about it.
There's a lot of refundable credits people forget about, and then they don't get that money back.
Yep. So did you see, speaking of taxes, this is like the most boring discussion ever, but the one other question I had, did you see that Twitch finally emailed everyone and was like, oh, here's your 1099 for all the people who like are affiliates or whatever? I think everyone got that email this week. Like they had some issues with their system. If only I had any income from Twitch. Yeah,
well, I haven't hit the minimum just yet.
Well, and everyone's all like, I know a few people in the download team were kind of frustrated because they already filed their taxes, and Twitch finally.
But it's simple enough, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can amend it or edit it or whatever, but still, it's like, thanks.
It's nice when you have all your paperwork in order, so you don't have to make that amendment. So yeah, it's kind of annoying.
That's why I wait till April 14th. The last minute. No, I'm just mostly because I'm lazy and because
when it's due. I do it early.
I usually owe money because I like to play that game. I'd rather have the money. A lot of people like claim 1 because they'd rather get a big fat like return, but I prefer claiming 2. And then like I usually owe just a little bit because I'd rather like use that money to invest.
I'll invest it.
Yeah, I actually like I try and min-max. I try and get it so that it zeroes out, but I usually end up owing a little bit.
You're min-maxing your tax return.
Exactly.
You're like, all right. So I based on last year's, I usually get a refund of like $2,000. So if I just keep that $2,000, invest it, and make like $2,100, and I only got to pay back like $1,000, I'm up.
Exactly. See, right there you go. Yeah, just start claiming 10 and just like go hardcore and invest it all.
The government's actually paying you money at that point.
Ogre Magi in Twitch chat just said, is this a tax question stream because I have questions? I mean, it wasn't going to be, but we may
we delved a bit down that direction.
If you have some ducats and you want to buy a Jumbotron James, I'm sure he'd be glad to read your your ridiculous tax questions. But no, we can move on to other topics. Besides school and taxes and all that stuff, I noticed that you have been streaming a little bit. I saw you stream just the other day. What were you streaming?
Oh, I was streaming some Warframe. In case you didn't know, I'm a pretty big fan of Warframe.
Oh.
Just a little bit of a fan.
For those listening, he's seductively touching the poster on the wall behind him.
Just the poster of Excalibur Prime from Warframe that I have nestled in between the two K-pop posters.
So have you unlocked every item in the game yet?
Sadly, no, but I'm working on it. You know, I give it 4 or 5 years, and I think by that time I'll be at least halfway done with every item.
By then they'll have released like 3 or 4 more expansions.
It's a Sisyphean task. You know, I'm pushing that boulder up the hill. Every time I get to the top, it rolls back down. Basically what's happening. But no, last night when I streamed, I had planned in my head, I was like ready. I was like, I'm gonna stream for 6+ hours to get all the parts for this Warframe Avara. And then within the first 10 minutes of the stream, I got one piece, and then the next hour I got the second one, and I was like, that's literally all I had planned. So this is all I planned to stream, guys.
So did you just end early? You're like, I did what I needed to do. Goodbye. Or did you like...
I went for another hour.
Set a new goal. Come on, James.
No, but that's the thing, though, because I just wanted a VAR at that time. Because to craft her, you needed a crafting reagent. That, at minimum, spawns 4 times in a day on a random timer for an
So you
alert.
just got crazy lucky.
Yeah, I got really lucky with those drops. For everyone listening, the pieces for Avara, I already had the first 2. I just needed to get the last 2. They're both a 7.5% drop on 4 sets of missions, and it takes me around 5 to 7 minutes to finish each mission. So I was like, okay, if you look at the math, I'm expected to get the drop after 20 runs, and I need 2 drops, so around 40. So I was like, okay, so that should take me like 6 hours. But I just got so lucky that it took me an hour to get both of them.
Wow.
And I was like, well, it didn't take me as long as I thought, which is really nice, but it also didn't take me as long as I thought.
You're the most selfish streamer ever. You're like, all right, guys, see you later. I got my job done, so fuck the audience.
It's like, that's all I planned, guys, so I guess I'm out. See you later.
You should have just switched to like Apex Legends or something.
I thought about it, but man, I was playing Apex before that. I'm already like level 55, and just that day I was not doing too hot, so I was like, I'm not gonna play too much today. But I mean, there's more stuff to grind in Warframe, so I'm probably gonna be like sneaking those types of streams in. The next one I think I'm gonna try for is Saren, and that one I know is gonna take a long time, because to even attempt the mission to get the drop, you have to farm a separate mission entirely to earn points, so you can enter the mission you need. And that one you need 25 points to enter. And I think her drop is like a 5-6% chance, and there's 4 of them. So I'm going to have to grind a ton of this other mission so I can grind a ton of the main mission. So it's layered grinding.
So what you're saying is you're going to be streaming a whole bunch, and everyone can look forward to you streaming all of your grinding.
Well, if you want to take that perspective, yes.
Because I was like, ooh, he's streaming Warframe. And then like I tried to get on and watch you, and you were gone already. And I was like, damn it, James, I'm trying to watch you stream. And you're like, you need a schedule. I need to know. I need to anticipate.
I'm trying to get better on a schedule. But it's just some days I wake up and I'm like, I got things I need to do. And then all of a sudden it's 9 p.m. and I'm like, well, I'm going to bed. I had a long day.
No, I get that. So, have you played Minion Masters at all lately?
I have, yes.
I haven't. But I recently saw a thread about. I wanted to ask you because I haven't played since they added this. Tell me about the whole guild thing.
Oh, so it's really basic right now, but basically it's just for like 5,000 gold. So it's really cheap. Anyone can start a guild. And people can be added to it. And the benefits of being in a guild is that there's certain guild quests you can do. So if you make a guild and then do the guild quest, you pretty much get your money back like instantly.
Okay.
And let's see, there's also like a like a guild chat, so it's separate from the global chat, so people can talk in there. But it's pretty basic, so it's just a place where people can like hang out, chat, and more easily like find games between guild members, because that's how you got the gold, was playing 3 matches with a guild member. But there's really not too much to it right now.
Is there a limit to like the size of a guild?
I think it's 50, but I haven't checked because I'm not currently in a guild, because I was like, I don't really need that right now. Like they just dropped the new expansion of cards, so I've been like logging in to do that. But other than that, there's not much else with guilds. They're asking for a lot of feedback, like what do the players want out of it?
Yeah, that's right. I saw on Reddit there was a thread asking for feedback. I'm surprised you aren't in, because I know you hang out in Video Gamers Discord. I'm surprised he doesn't have a guild full of all of his like usual cronies.
He does.
Oh,
there's the Video Kid Guild. There's the King Puff Cup Guild for the staff members. There's the King Puff Cup Guild for the non-staff members. They added a whole Discord channel for people advertising their guilds to get members. And just today, someone DM'd me inviting me to their guild. Let's see, who was it? It was my friend Paco. And he said, if you join today, you get cookies and bacon. Join the Happy Wizards and Prowlers Guild. But it's like, I know so many people with guilds. It's like, which one do I join? But since there's not really like any substance to it at this point, it's like I don't really feel a need to.
Yeah, if there was something unique that you got from being in a guild that you couldn't get otherwise, like, you know, the game that I'm trying to get you all hooked on, that mobile game, Crush Them All. Like, by being in a guild, you can request medals to basically increase the level of your characters, and you can request it like once a day or once every so many hours. Like, if there was some unique mechanic within a guild where you could do that, where you could like request what are they, stars or whatever, like for your cards.
Oh, the glory.
Yeah, so if like every day, you know, every couple of hours you could request like 5 glory for a card, or like if there was something within the guild, like some unique mechanic that would incentivize people to participate in the guild like on a daily basis, I could see the benefit of it. But right now it's more of just like a social hub, essentially. Yeah,
pretty much. Like, I would like them to take a look at like what Clash Royale does with guilds, which is similar, you know, like maybe do exactly that. You request some glory for a specific card, or maybe just like add in, say, like guild battles between like different guilds, and then I don't know if they ever get around to it, maybe add like a tournament guild feature. So like the winner of like, so guild versus guild, and the winning guild gets like some kind of reward, be it gold, rubies, or maybe like just glory, but just something to really like work for it, since it's really bare bones right now.
Okay, I mean, that's interesting. I haven't even, I can't think of the last time I played Minion Masters. I've been so wrapped up in Apex Legends, and
yeah, it's tough. Apex is just so much fun.
I have a really bad problem of like, I don't, it's not ADD, because ADD is very short term. I have like long term hyper focusing. Like I'll get so super into something for like an extended period of time, and then one day I'll just like completely lose interest in it. So like
that, well, that was a fun 2 weeks.
Yeah, like Minion Masters, like I went really deep for a while, and then I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore. And like right now for me, it's Apex Legends. I'm like every chance I get, I'm like, oh, I could probably sneak in a few games or whatever. And Apex Legends and Crush Them All is like all I've been doing lately, and also planning my wedding. I mean, that too. I guess that's
it's taking the back seat to the first two, but it's still being worked on.
Yeah, no, actually, this is a new shirt. I got this shirt last week. We went and bought new clothes for our engagement photos. We took engagement photos this last weekend. So they're like, they said they took over like 700 or 800 pictures. So I guess they pare it down and like clean them up and optimize them and do whatever touch ups or whatever. So probably this week or next week, I should have some sexy engagement photos I'll probably drop some of them in the Discord or post some on Twitter or something.
So when's your wedding, and why is it stopping you from going to TwitchCon?
The wedding is October 18th. And TwitchCon is like the last week of September. So there's a good chance I may or may not be going to TwitchCon this year, because as much as I would like to go, that's cutting it pretty damn close to when I need to like be doing wedding stuff. And also I think that's right around the time our lease is up, and we were talking about moving out of this apartment. So there's like, yeah, it's going to be a very busy couple of months. And TwitchCon may have to take a back seat this year, even though it's in San Diego this year, which is like Lady Navio and I love San Diego. We've been there a couple times together.
It's a beautiful place.
Oh, man.
It's an expensive place.
Yeah, I would definitely live there. I love Old Town. I love the Gas Lamp District. There's a few restaurants there that I'm super fond of. You got the stadium, lots of good breweries. You got Coronado Island. I mean, it just... There's so many great things about it, but yeah, it's. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I can swing it.
Yeah, because I bring it up because it's like I already know a ton of people that have already like booked their hotels and their Airbnbs, because it was only announced like a week and a half ago, and people are already like, "Well, I know I'm going. I'm booking this right now," and. Well, definitely not cheap.
That's because every year it gets crazier, right? Like it's getting harder and harder to buy tickets, to find hotels. Like Twitch is definitely not getting less popular. So it's only going to get harder and harder with each year to come. Like this last year, you know, a bunch of people were expecting to buy tickets at the door, and they sold out. Had to turn people away. There were people sleeping on, we had Uncle Joe crashing with us because his Airbnb got double booked. Like, it was just crazy. San Jose was, like, overwhelmed with Twitch for, like, 3 days. But, yeah, I don't know. It may not happen. By the way, there was a comment in there about 1099. I don't know if you saw that, but someone wants you to do their taxes.
Oh, I saw. I was like, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that. Look the other way.
Ninja Breadmon in chat says that was me with MS2. I played a ton for like 3 weeks and then just stopped. Yeah, I mean that tends to be. I do that with a lot of things.
It's been 3 weeks since Apex was out.
I know, but I'm still going strong. I think that one's definitely going to be one that's in my regular rotation.
Especially because like they're still going to be adding new stuff. Like they're adding the battle pass, which is going to like give you some more like goals to fulfill and stuff.
Yeah, did you see they're probably going to be releasing another character or two as well when they release the battle pass? So
I saw the data mine leaks.
Yeah, there was the data mine leaks, and then today I was watching Shroud's stream and he accidentally dropped the name of one or two of the characters because he's been in touch with like the developers and he's been like testing it. One of the things he mentioned too today was they were polling like a lot of the top streamers and players and testers about doing not just skins but doing optional colorizing, like being able to just like buy ink, like basically being able to color different gear, different things. So it sounds like they're still trying to kind of figure out in what ways they like, what features they want to offer and how they want to monetize it and stuff. But
yeah, because right now I feel no inclination to actually spend money.
Yeah,
other than the packs, the skins themselves aren't really that great. Like some of the Supreme skins are better than the legendaries in my opinion. So it's
the Supreme ones have those cool like lighting effects on them.
They're animated, colored. Just every time I go in the shop, it's like $20 for something that costs like $15, but you can only buy in like that increment.
Yeah, and that's
in there isn't too great.
That's why I'm excited for the battle pass. I hope that it's reasonable. I hope that it feels rewarding. I mean, that's the the battle pass in Fortnite is really like what is a big part of what made Fortnite what it is. Like,
it was something that would keep you coming week to week.
yeah, it was well balanced, and then the way that you earn V-Bucks and like how the battle pass works and everything was very well thought out and well engineered, and it keeps people coming back. And it was so effective that it like everyone's copying it now. So as long as Apex Legends can do a good job at like making it feel fair and feel like you're actually like making progress, and it, I don't know, it's got to be rewarding enough or people aren't gonna buy into it.
Because especially like right now, it's actually funny. There was the meme that was going around. It was like Apex hits 10 million players in 3 days. Fortnite free battle pass. Because I know some people that were probably like on the fence, like, oh, maybe I'm gonna like swap to Fortnite. I mean, swap to Apex is like the main game, like battle royale game I play now. Probably saw the free battle pass and were like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just like go back to Fortnite for a few days, complete the challenges, get the free pass. And some of those people are probably gonna stick to Fortnite from that point, because they're like, well, I got the battle pass for free. I don't want that to go to waste. Like, what if there's a cool skin I want? And then that's gonna really like pull people back to Fortnite. But I know a lot of people that are dropping Fortnite, me included.
I think they're both big enough though that like I don't think one's gonna destroy the other. I think there's space for both of them, especially like there's opportunists, right? Excuse me. I'm trying my best not to cough a lot and get all scruffy. I'm still recovering from being sick, but so like there's always going to be opportunists that see the fact that, okay, so Dr. Disrespect, even Ninja, Shroud, like a lot of them, not full time, but a lot of them started playing Apex Legends, right? So there's going to be people who are like, oh, like I was kind of popular in Fortnite, now's my chance. Ninja's not taking up that huge portion of audience that he usually does. I'm gonna jump into Fortnite. Like there's always gonna be some of that, like that. Fortnite's way too big. It has too much momentum for it to just get replaced. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think there were quite a few people that were looking for a battle royale where you don't have to build walls, myself included.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah.
And I think Apex Legends was the first one to do it well, where it has enough players. Because like I'll say it again, if Darwin Project had more players, I'd still be playing that. They made a few mistakes early on and they lost a lot of their audience. But right now Apex Legends is like the only battle royale I have any interest in whatsoever. So I'm rooting for them. I hope they can fix some of the bugs. I hope that their battle pass is good. I hope that they can figure out. Hopefully that I would like to see a competitive scene. I think the model that they have with the 3-person squads and how fast the games are, I think it's actually really well designed for a potential esport opportunity. Like especially,
I think they did say on the roadmap was adding a competitive mode.
Well, and like the fact that you can respawn characters is huge.
That's a big one.
That's huge, because then like if a team gets knocked, or like if one of your characters gets knocked out like right away, but the other two survive, like in a lot of other battle royales you're fucked. But like in this one, like, oh, I can recover them and I can respawn them, and like we're still in this game. So I think that goes a long way as far as like balance and as far as providing an environment where like competitive and esports and stuff can potentially be viable.
And it also adds like another layer to the gameplay, because there's been a few times where I'm in a squad of 3 people and like I was like, oh, there's another group dropping with us. I'm gonna veer off like one direction they're not going, and then my squad mates get wiped, and then I just run in, grab their banners, and get out. And I'm like, okay, guys, well, you died, but I'm gonna respawn you over here, and then we're gonna go loot in this area, and then maybe go on a win. Right. There's been a few times I think where like I've been respawned at least, and then we go on to win the game, which is really nice, because otherwise it's like, oh, I died. Guess I got to wait for like 15 minutes while my friends are playing the game and do something else.
Yeah, it's not a wasted game. There's always a chance. That the only thing that bugs me is the fact that that mechanic does exist, but you still have people like there's games where we drop in, a dude dies, and like disconnects immediately, and I could have recovered his thing and probably respawned him.
I've had a few games like that where I'm like, I get super lucky. It's like 1v3, I wipe the team, and then the person I'm playing with, like in Discord, is like, "Oh, dude, you're insane!" I grab his banner, and it's like, "Wait, where's the third guy?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, he disconnected like immediately.
Yeah.
He didn't think you were gonna win that." And it's like, damn. And then it's cool too, because like since it changes on the map, like, oh, the respawn beacon disappeared, like someone used it, and you can see the dropship fly in. It's basically like if you're moving and then you catch it fast enough, you can be like, hey, they just respawned someone. So it's gonna basically be a 3v2. Maybe
Right.
we can go in like and fight them. And
Yeah.
it makes finding people easier as well.
No, there's so many. That's another thing that I really like about it is like there's a lot of mechanics that are designed for you to be encouraged to engage. There, there's loot crate, there's the support drops, random ones. But then like you said, respawning a character, everyone can see and hear that. There's always a one high tier loot area that's marked on the map that people fight over. There's the loot ship that people fight over. There's a lot of things that encourage you to like move towards certain areas and engage the enemy. And
Yeah, and you always need to be moving as well. Like I've noticed the people that like camp and are always hiding, they don't really have good gear. Like they have the gun that they first found. They never get found like level 3 armor and helmet. So it makes it a lot easier.
yeah.
You're really rewarded for finding like those fights and winning.
Yeah, and I feel like although it needs some tweaking, I feel like the sound design is pretty good. Like as far as you can hear where gunshots are coming from, or you can the positional audio is pretty solid. Even if you're only using like stereo headphones, like I can tell if something's off to the southwest, or like it's pretty good audio engineering as far as being like, oh, there's a gunfight over there, let's go, let's go engage or whatever. So
And you can tell what every gun is by the sound of their shots. Yeah.
Yeah, and they used pretty good sounds as far as like when you break someone's shield, when you knock someone, like they're all very like well designed, distinct sounds that make it pretty rewarding. Like when you bust a dude's shield, you hear that big psh, like it's very obvious what is happening.
I guess that's why I like it so much. There's a lot of those tiny details that all together just makes for a really good experience. Like how if you shoot someone with no shields, it's just a red number. If they have level 1 shields, it's white. They have level 2, it's blue. Level 3, purple. Level 4, it's gold. Like all the stuff is colored as well, so you don't really have to spend too much time to like figure out what they have. Whereas in other games, like if you're playing Fortnite and you shoot a guy, it's just like, well, I shot him and he lost some shields, but I don't know how much shield he like was at. Whereas in Apex, it's like, oh, I shot a guy and it was golden and it didn't break, so he probably still has like 40 more shield left.
Yeah, it's so well designed that it's almost subconscious. Like it's just like instinctive. You just kind of figure it out, even if no one explained it to you. After you play for a while, it just, because of how well the colors and sounds and everything are designed, you can kind of just figure it out, like instinctively almost. It's pretty amazing how well they've designed some of that stuff. So,
and then probably the biggest thing I enjoy, putting the supply drops on the mini map.
Yeah,
because that's what I hated in every other battle royale game I played. There were drops. The drops never showed up on the map. So it was just like you either spotted one falling and were like, oh, cool, let's move to it. Or you just spotted one randomly and was just like, oh, nice, like we got lucky. By putting them on the map, it like lets you make that decision like, oh, there's a drop over here. Should we go for it? Other people know it's dropping there. And the loot in the drops is really good pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely set a new standard. I mean, that plus what we talked about before with the ping system. I love the ping system so much. I like don't even want to talk to people half the time. I love pinging shit. Like it's just fun to be like ping and just point shit out, like, and how well it's communicated without using any voice comms at all.
Exactly.
So I think they've definitely set a new standard. I think you're going to see a lot of other battle royales stealing some of the mechanics that they've improved and innovated. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see a ping system in Fortnite in the near future. Like, I think I'd be surprised if that didn't happen.
After having it, I don't think I want to play a game without it.
It's too good to ignore. I mean,
because when the only alternative is people not talking to each other, it's like it's a pretty big difference.
Or people just like, I mean, it still happens where people just swipe in, like will run in and just take everything. But the backpacks are pretty small, so like there's no reason for you to try and grab everything, and like the ping system just like rewards you. So it's such an easy thing to use that like I don't know. It's very rewarding. And because that's one thing I hated about Fortnite too is like there'd always be that dude who's always grabbing everything and he just never says anything and he's just always trying to grab the best loot and just be like the hero. I don't know. So I'm
now
going.
when you grab stuff, you can actually just ping what you swapped it for and let other people grab it.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you buy like even if you like swap out your blue armor for purple or pink armor, whatever, tier 3 armor, you just ping your blue armor and like at least you're still giving them something. So did you hear, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I think we've stroked Apex Legends dong long enough. I wanted to ask you about, did you hear about that YouTube video that Matt's What It Is released? Apparently he was a big YouTuber and he made a comeback and he released this video. I think I posted it in our chat, but he basically pointed out like how YouTube is facilitating the sexual exploitation of children. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I definitely heard about it. Yeah.
So I'm not going to play the video, but it's pretty crazy. Like, you guys can go look this up if you're listening. His name is Matt's What It Is, and he released this video recently after, he hasn't posted anything in a while, and he's like, well, I hate that this is my comeback video, but this needs attention. And he basically points out how the YouTube algorithm, because all it does is suggest things. Oh, you like this video? You'd probably like this video. And on a new YouTube account, within like watching 1 or 2 videos, how basically you can end up down this rabbit hole of like unintentionally explicit videos of minors, of like kids, and how like pedophiles and like nefarious individuals are taking advantage of this and using the comment section of these videos to basically just like communicate with each other. And it's like pretty gnarly how deep it goes. And so he just pointed out, he like opened an incognito tab and pointed out how easy it was. And as a result of that, I don't know if you saw this, but Disney and Nestle completely pulled all of their ads from YouTube. So that's pretty significant. Like,
yeah, a lot of people were hearkening it to the adpocalypse too.
I mean, I have mixed feelings about it because, he makes it all sound like it's one giant conspiracy and how YouTube's ignoring it. I think part of it is like most of the videos that he references, with a few exceptions, most of the videos themselves are fairly innocent. I don't think it's the uploaders of the videos who are intentionally. Some of them are bot accounts where they're re-uploading videos of other people. But it's more the people, it's more the viewers who are exploiting the videos and like creating these link chains down in the comments.
Yeah.
And that's
the thing I heard was like YouTube was like, all right, then I guess the big sweeping change we're going to make is you better curate your comment sections or we'll demonetize you based on the commenters.
Right. And which is like, Jesus, how, like, that's a full-time job. Like if you're a big content creator, you're going to have to hire someone full-time just to like go through the thousands of comments that your videos get. And so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more content creators just start disabling comments on their videos.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I heard, because when this came up, there's always two sides. There's always the one side that like agrees with the person somewhat, and then the other one kind of attacking him. There's the people saying that like he over exaggerated a lot of like what he was saying purposefully because they felt that he was someone trying to be a content creator on YouTube and then couldn't do it, and this was like his plan to like get back at it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some sensationalist kind of stuff going on there. I feel like, I mean, but that's the nature of content these days. You have to be shocking in some way.
Because it clearly worked. That's like one of his most popular videos. It was his comeback video.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, Mashif harps on this a lot, but I think there's some truth to it. The whole fake outrage, like, obviously there is a problem and the algorithm probably needs like some work, and people should be more careful about the comments, and maybe YouTube should hire someone just to kind of like, they can't only, I think one of the points he was trying to make is they can't just rely on algorithms. But the counter argument to that is the amount of content that is uploaded to YouTube every day, it's physically impossible for them to hire enough people to like curate it.
Yeah, like I think the number was like in 5 minutes, there's 3 days of content uploaded. So it's like, how do you can't physically hire enough people to scrounge through all that content. It's impossible.
Right. So that's a problem. You know, how do you solve that problem? But it doesn't help when there's this kind of like, you know, the whole outrage generation that we live in, where everything is so, oh my gosh, like you know, like you said, some of it's legit concern, some of it is just over sensationalized. Like another example that happened recently, I don't have the link here, but our good friend Pay Money Wubby, who likes to make fairly controversial videos, he made the one about TikTok or Musical.ly or whatever. He recently came out with a video where I guess there was an ad by some toilet paper company where they were basically talking about how single mothers are fathers, and how that they should celebrate fathers. Mothers should be honored on Father's Day. Like single mothers should be honored on Father's Day.
What does that even mean?
So, well, because like a single mother acts as the argument so it's the whole Gillette thing all over again. It's a toilet paper company that came out with this commercial basically saying that single mothers act as both a mother and a father. They kind of have to fill both roles. So we should honor single mothers on Father's Day. And he was like, obviously, like he took the counter position that like, this is ridiculous. Like, let fathers have a day. Like, single mothers have Mother's Day, and we can appreciate what they do, and it's hard, but like, why are you trying to take Father's Day away from fathers? Like, let them have a day. And you know,
by that same logic, are single fathers also mothers as well?
Right. And so that's like, obviously we can all obviously see the arguments on both sides, but he made a huge deal out of it. And it was like, okay, yeah, it was kind of a whatever, whether you agree with it or not. It's the whole woke commercials. Like, you know, why is a toilet paper company telling me like how to live my life? You know, the same thing with the Gillette thing. Why is a razor company telling me I'm not a man? Like, it's the whole that to me is the bigger issue than like he was trying to make a big deal out of the fact that like, oh, they're trying to steal Father's Day from fathers, and like he made this like whole video about it. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I understand his argument to an extent, but I'm also like, who cares? Like, I don't know. Like,
it's like, it's a toilet paper company. It's like, does it really matter? Because honestly, how many people, when they're buying toilet paper, look at the brand they're buying? Because most people, they like found one that they enjoy and then they just buy it. Or they're going to find the cheapest one out of the bunch and buy it. They're not really looking for a name brand.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to base my toilet paper decisions on whether or not they they're honoring single mothers. I'm sorry, but you know, if it's soft and it wipes the shit off my butt, I'm probably just gonna buy it. It's all madness.
Mm-hmm.
What are
Madness all the way down.
Yep. Turtles all the way down. Speaking of madness, I know we're gonna break tradition here, but I gotta ask you. I mean, who pointed it out originally? I think it was Nate. But this whole THQ situation, I want to talk about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you know?
It was neat.
Okay, how much do you know about it? Because I didn't have a lot of time to dive into it too deep, but it looks like they made a pretty big boo boo.
They made a very big boo boo. Okay, so there I was, just going about my day on the way back to my apartment after 2 classes, and I see Nate post a Twitter link. THQ Nordic, I think it was.
Right.
They did an AMA, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I love reading AMAs from companies to like see like what they're thinking about on the inside. But then it was like, we're doing an AMA on 8chan, and I was like, what? Why would you do such a thing? So of course I start like looking. He posted a Twitter link because that's I guess where they advertised it, and then a bunch of people start replying to it. I'm reading through the replies to the Twitter to see what's going on, and then the first one I see that's like the most favorited is narrator. It was not good, and it was 4 replies on the 8chan thread, and I believe it was the first one was, where are our big titty lollies at, with an image. It was an explicit image, and then THQ Nordic hits back with, it looks like you already got them, and then it's like that's not the response you should have to that. And it just went downhill from there. Like after that comment was made, it just opened the floodgates for everybody else.
Wow. I mean, I didn't even look at the actual thread. That's insane, dude. So for those who don't know, why is it such a big deal? What is the reputation of 8chan?
Not good. I know on the whole, most people, when they think of like 8chan and 4chan, it's generally poll, which is the politics board, and generally like pedophilia and pornography is like what pretty much everyone thinks about it. I have a friend that uses it, and he's just like, well, yeah, it's like pretty bad, but it's like Reddit. There's bad parts of Reddit, and then there's like normal-ish people that use it for like just normal conversation. But when you go in like that and you're saying, oh, we're doing an AMA, guys, like that just opens the floodgates for that type of troll content. And then whoever they had doing it, once he replied to that one post, it just went downhill from there.
Well, yeah, and I don't think it's a very fair comparison to say. It's kind of like Reddit, because 8chan, I think, is a little less
sanitized.
Right. And it's probably a red flag. All it would have taken was for them to do a little research to realize, like, if a website is bad enough that Google has blocked it from being, Google's blocked 8chan.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get 8chan results on Google. So that should tell you something right there about that website. Like a PR guy could have done 20 minutes of research and been like, hey, guys, this probably isn't a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I made the comparison. It's like, oh, it's like Reddit, because I'm pretty sure like whoever was running that AMA probably thought exactly that. Like, it's a social media board like Reddit. Right. And it's like, no, not really. It's an entirely different ecosystem, and there's a very select community of people that generally go on those boards.
Right. Yeah, so here's the I was going to pull up the so here's the official apology. It says, I personally agreed to this AMA without doing my proper due diligence to understand the history and controversy of the site. I do not condone child pornography, white supremacy, or racism in any shape or form. So it's a little reactionary. It's a little late at that point, because like it's one thing to say that, but like you said, judging from what you're telling me about what was said in the actual thread, he straight up like replied to people's comments about it.
Mm-hmm. It's like one of those things where I feel it's because people like the person in charge of the AMA probably was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be like the other like PR man, like the PR guys for these other companies, like the Wendy's Twitter, where it's like, oh, someone replies to Wendy's, and Wendy's is just like says something kind of offensive back, and people are like, haha, that's so funny. I feel like he was thinking the same way, like, oh, it's just banter. But then it's like when you're doing it on 8chan, it kind of paints a much different light.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think they should have done a few minutes worth of research.
He said it himself. He didn't do his due diligence.
Well, and then he said something like, "I saw an opportunity and I took it." Like, so did he just like someone invited? Like, how? What was the time period between? I'm curious, between him being invited and him doing the AMA. I mean, it sounds like he just like went for it without even consulting like his. I don't know.
Let's see.
And I love the comment. There was a bunch of comparisons in the comments, but one of them that I liked, it said, completely unrelated, but I went out to the park today and there was free dirt all over the place, so I just started stuffing it into my mouth. The opportunity was there and I took it. Because he said that. He was like, the opportunity was there and I took it.
Okay, so 9 hours ago when they announced the AMA, the person in charge of the account said, the opportunity was here and we took it. We got approached in a very friendly and polite manner and were assured said person, shout out to Mark, will take care of the nasty stuff. So here we are. So whoever this Mark person is just trolled the hell out of him. Like, oh yeah, I'll definitely like make sure it's all good. I'm going to clean up the board just for you.
Well, yeah, and I love there was another comment that said something like, yeah, even serial killers are friendly. Like, you can't just trust some random internet dude's friendly demeanor when he's like, hey, buddy, you should come over here and do an AMA. I don't know. Mistakes were made. So were you serious when you said, I'm not sure if we can even talk about Ice Poseidon?
A little bit. I'm actually not sure. The memes are, and he's like, he who shall not be named. Because I know Twitch I can't really tell. On one hand, it's like, are people memeing it? Or is it actually Twitch like hates him this much that you just can't talk about him at all? Because I've seen a lot of that kind of sentiment. But I also like aren't in that ecosystem, so I'm not quite sure.
By the way, for those listening, I completely switched gears there. I was done talking about THQ and Ice Poseidon.
Speaking of other illicit content.
Yeah, no, I just... It's not going to be a long podcast, so I'm kind of just trying to jump around a little bit. But so for those who don't know, Ice Poseidon is a streamer who's been around all kinds of streaming platforms since, I mean, he's been around forever. And he has a reputation of doing a lot of dumb things. And there's always been controversy and speculation as to how much of it was staged versus how much of it is like actually he's just that dumb. And because he does a lot of live streams and he would always find himself in these ridiculous situations and he would always like get in trouble in various ways. Is he banned from Twitch at this point?
He is banned from Twitch, yes.
So the Twitch, I know in the Twitch TOS you're not allowed to speak ill of other streamers, but since he's banned, like I'm pretty sure we're allowed to talk about it, right?
I think that's how it works, yeah.
So anyway, I'm not going to pull it up, but just I briefly wanted to mention there's a video of him that just came out today, like right before the podcast, actually a couple hours before, where people were asking him about the company that he was trying to start with this other guy. And he basically was like, yeah, so basically what we're doing is like you take money from investors and then that's kind of starts the capital. And then you use that money, to get more investors. And then you can pay those investors with the money that you've earned. So it shows that, and basically he described in detail exactly what a Ponzi scheme is.
Mm-hmm. To the letter.
And so another guy on voice chat was like, wait, so it's like a Ponzi scheme? And he's like, no, it's just complicated. I'm not explaining it right. And he literally explained the same thing again. And I was just like, this guy
It's not a
can't.
Ponzi scheme, guys.
This guy can't be this dumb. It was
It's a
on the.
he's like, uh, he finally figures out. He's like, no, it's supposed to be a pyramid scheme.
Which
I'm
is
just not explaining it well.
which is what a Ponzi scheme is. For those who don't know,
Similar.
they're almost exactly the same type of thing.
One is just infinitely more illegal than the other.
Right. Well, I mean, technically, pyramid schemes are illegal. That for it to be multi-level marketing, there has to be proof of an actual value and capital and a product,
Mhm.
and that's the only thing that separates the two. So, like in this case, they don't even have a Ponzi scheme. There's not even an actual product. It's essentially
it's just a web of lies to get more money.
It's just a promise that if you get in early, that you're going to make money because the people who come in after you are basically going to fund your, and then eventually, anyway. So it blew up on Reddit. It had 50,000. Oops, that's the wrong view. It had 50,000 upvotes, and it's still there. I wonder if this video got. I'm just going to hit play. Nope, it's still there.
Play it if it has him on it.
What?
I wouldn't play it if he has him on it.
No, I just hit play for just a sec because I wanted to see if the video still exists.
Because I know you're not even allowed to like have him in your stream.
Oh well, we'll see.
Don't worry, as long as no one reports it, it's fine.
There's only like 2 people watching this podcast right now, so I'm not worried about it. By the time we get it up on the YouTube, it'll be fine. The more people, the top comment: I'm running a Ponzi scheme. Sorry, I'm not explaining it well. Let me try again. I'm running a Ponzi scheme. It's just like so ridiculous. And apparently, supposedly, he's trying to get this video removed, but it's already. I think they closed the comment section because it just got too gnarly. But so your boy Ice Poseidon is doing his thing again, proving once again that he might actually be as dumb as he appears to be. It's not just an act. So we'll see how that turns out.
Sent me that, I was like, I can already tell it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think there's ever been a single post of his that ended in a positive thing.
Yeah, no, it's I guess it doesn't really surprise me that much though. The internet. The moral of the story is don't start Ponzi schemes and don't diddle kids. Once again,
better yet, if you want to start a Ponzi scheme, be smart about it. Don't describe what a Ponzi scheme is to the 1,000 people watching you and then say it's not a Ponzi scheme.
True. Oh, by the way, James, before we move on and finish up, got a couple other things I wanted to mention. But Lady Navio wanted me to ask you this. I don't know if you overheard us talking before when we were eating dinner before the stream started. I think I left my mic on, so I'm not sure if you picked it up. So she cooked a recipe a couple years ago, and it was like this chicken something or other with jalapeno in it, and it was like spicy to the point where we could barely eat it. Like we had to douse the thing in sour cream. So this is, by the way, this is racist hour with JimmyNavio. I'm going to ask James a very Mexican question. It's about spices, okay, and Mexican food.
I was like, he said chicken and jalapeno, and he wanted to, and Lady Navio specifically asked him to ask me. I know where this is going.
Exactly. So, our Mexican friend, can you please explain to me why, when she made that dish with jalapenos in it, it was like unbearably hot and we could barely eat it? And then recently, like the dinner we had tonight, she did like a pork dish or something, and she cut up some jalapenos and cooked it in with like some pulled pork and eggs and like other stuff, but she had some like cut up jalapeno that she threw in and cooked with it, and it wasn't spicy at all, like zero spice. And we're like, why? Like, Because she's been afraid ever since she made that other dish for the last couple of years. She's like, yeah, I've been afraid to use jalapenos because like that dish was so freaking spicy. Like I didn't want to like ruin, whatever I was making by putting them in there. So she was like, but this time she's like, I'm going to start using jalapenos more because I used them this time and it wasn't spicy at all. It just added like a nice flavor and a nice like kind of, whatever. So do you have any idea why there was such a huge like difference between that one time? I mean, maybe it was, I don't know. Was it, they looked the same, they smelled the same. I don't know why.
Okay, so when you say chicken with jalapenos, how did she cook it the first time? Was it just, and did she include the seeds?
See, no. I did. I specifically brought that up. I was like, can you remove the seeds both times? And she said, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I removed the seeds.
Okay, so no seeds both time. At what point did she add, if you can remember, at what point did she add the jalapenos to the chicken dish compared to the pork dish? Because it sounded like she put the jalapenos with the pork dish like from the start and then they cooked along with the pork. How did it go with the chicken?
No, I think it might be the other way around. I think
so she added it after.
I think
like it was done and then she added it.
Yeah, the one we just had tonight, I'm pretty sure the pork was slow cooked, but then like, so it was already, the pork was pre-cooked. So she like she basically scrambled some eggs, threw some pork and like some bell peppers and other things, and she cut up some jalapeno and threw it in and like just cooked it all up. Whereas I think with the chicken dish, the jalapenos might have been like a slow cooked dish, and the jalapenos might have been, so maybe that's what it is.
Because I know, I actually looked it up because it was like from experience, I know the longer you cook jalapenos, because if it was slow cooked, like in the juices at all, I think that would make it a lot hotter because basically, those jalapenos are sitting in the broth and the capsaicin?
Capsaicin, I think. Yeah.
Capsaicin.
That's what
So basically all of that's going to ooze, get pulled out through the slow cooking process and basically fill every nook and cranny of that dish, which is probably why it was really hot. And I'm thinking the pork dish was less hot because from the way it sounded when you cook them, if it wasn't slow cooked, that might have been why.
Could it? So
mostly because like when you cook peppers, like jalapenos, when they're raw like that, that's when they're like the hottest. When they slowly get cooked, it breaks down a lot of the capsaicin and they get a bit sweeter. But I don't know like exactly how you prepared it, and I'm no expert, but that's just what I'm thinking.
Okay, the other theory that I had, and maybe you can tell me if this is, and I don't know if you know this or not, but could the ripeness of the pepper have anything to do with it? Like if it
definitely could.
Okay.
Although I'm not sure if it's like more ripe makes it worse or less ripe.
I feel like more ripe would make it worse. If I had to guess, I would say that like the more ripe it is, the longer it has on the stem to just like kind of develop that, just build up the capsaicin and stuff. I feel like more ripe would be worse. I feel like if it's, because like, how if you have a green banana, it doesn't taste like anything. It just doesn't have that sweetness to it.
Okay, well, a quick Google search does say that they get hotter as they ripen. So it's possible that maybe the ones you ate today weren't as ripe, or maybe weren't ripe, but they looked ripe. And then the ones you ate before were very ripe. That might be it.
Maybe. Because they definitely looked a little more green and they were a little crunchier. So I'm wondering if they just weren't like, maybe it wasn't a fully ripened jalapeno.
That could definitely be it. But then it's also weird because like, how hot was it really? Like, was it hot by your standard?
No, I mean, she likes spicy food, and the chicken one, like, she could barely eat it. Like, it was just,
so this was like very hot.
Yeah.
So hot by Hispanic standards, not quite Thai, not quite,
right.
Not quite Indian.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but and then tonight, like, even I could eat it, and I didn't even sweat. So, it wasn't, to me, even if it's remotely spicy, I start sweating. And I had no problem eating the meal she made tonight. So we're like, what's the difference? Like we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think then I guess the ripeness might be the only thing.
Maybe.
Because I'm no expert, but I know some things like help break down like the heat, but I don't think like egg and pork and whatever else like she cooked in it like would do that. So I'm really unsure, especially if it's just like a simple slow cooked chicken with jalapenos. Like I don't know why that would be a lot hotter.
Yeah. Maybe the ripeness.
Could just be the ripeness. Yeah.
We'll have to do some experiments for science. All right. Well, I've been sitting on this for a couple weeks, and I wanted to read it. I read one of these on my stream. I don't think I've read one during the podcast, but Lady Navia works in HR, and every once in a while, someone will forward an email to her. And it's one of those. This is another one of those trying to extort money from an employee, basically. And that's interesting. They're always very fun to read. So I wanted to read this before we ended the podcast. So it's an email that one of her fellow employees received. And it says careers at the company she works for, and then hacked. And then there's like some random ass email address. And then so it says attention careers at da da da. This is not a joke. I am dead serious. Hi, perv. The last time you visited a pornographic website with teens, you downloaded and installed software that I developed. My program has turned on your camera and recorded the process of your masturbation. The process of your masturbation. Like that, like it's such poor English.
No, because Jimmy, it's not just the masturbation. No,
it's the process, the whole process.
Lights dimmed, the candles lit, the lubricant brought out to the table.
Yeah, the whole process.
Paper set.
My software has also downloaded all your email contact lists and a list of your friends on Facebook. I have both the careers.mp4 with your masturbation, as well as a file with all your contacts on my hard drive. You are very perverted! Exclamation mark. That's for emphasis.
Gotta make it clear.
You are very perverted. If you want me to delete both the files and keep the secret, you must send me Bitcoin payment. I give you 72 hours for payment. If you don't know how to send Bitcoins, visit Google. I love he doesn't even explain it. He's just like, Google it, bitch. Send 2000. It's so they're obviously not American because they're using periods for commas. Send 2,000 USD to this Bitcoin address immediately. And then there is actually an address. And in parentheses, it says copy and paste. And then he does emphasize 1 BTC equals estimated 3,580 USD right now. So send exactly 0.565 BTC to the address provided. Do not try to cheat me. As soon as you open this email, I will know that you opened it. This Bitcoin address is linked to you only, so I will know if you sent the correct amount. When you pay in full, I will remove the files and deactivate my program. If you don't send the payment, I will send your masturbation video to all your friends and associates from your contact list I hacked. Here are the payment details again. You can visit police, but nobody will help you. I know what I'm doing. I don't live in your country, and I know how to stay anonymous. Don't try to deceive me. I will know it immediately. My spyware is recording all the websites you visit and all keys you press. If you do, I will send this ugly recording to everyone you know, including your family. Don't cheat me. Don't forget the shame. And if you ignore this message, your life will be ruined. I am waiting for your Bitcoin payment. If you need more time to buy and send 0.565 BTC, open your notepad and type 48HPLZ, 48 hours please, basically. I will consider giving you another 48 hours before I release the vid. and it's signed at the bottom, anonymous hacker.
Ooh, anonymous hacker, by the way.
So yeah,
And
that's
that was sent to the work email
oh yeah, yeah.
at her work.
This is the second one that's been forwarded to her. The other one was even worse English. This one's
Oh,
actually
Lord.
pretty well. There's, for the most part, the punctuation, other than some things that are obviously like very weird that no English speaker would say, like the process of your masturbation.
Mm-hmm. It's like, we get the intent, but that is not what you say.
Right. So yeah, that's the kind of fun stuff that she brings home to me from her job in HR. It's pretty exciting stuff. Obviously, this guy has nothing. And he's just trying
Yeah, pretty
to.
much. Especially like you're at work doing work things and you get that email and you're just like, there's no webcam on this computer. And I'm also at my place of work.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, this is just classic, just a phishing attempt.
It's like someone
Not
saw
even
that.
phishing. That's just a scam at this point.
Yeah, it's just scare tactics. It's just a scam.
Mhm.
Hey, it's like they saw that episode of Black Mirror and just like are trying to scare people. Did you see that episode?
That episode got me messed up.
The one where they send him where they send all those random like pedophiles on errands.
Hmm. See, that's the thing though. When I watched it, I didn't even know it was pedophiles right until the end.
Yeah, well, they did that on purpose
That's where it got me because I was like, oh shit.
because you feel bad for them, and then by the end you're like, oh well, do they deserve it? I mean, is vigilantism okay? I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it really makes you think about.
Especially after they put those guys through all that stuff, and then you learn all of them are pedophiles, and then they release it all anyway.
Yep. So that's what it reminded me of when she showed me that. I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of like they're attempting to do something like that, but they obviously don't actually have any evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I thought it was fun. I wanted to read it for everyone. I wanted to document it on this episode.
It was good. I like that message. It was very thorough.
Yeah, it was quite detailed. Except I love the part where he's like, if you don't know how, Google it. It's like where I'm not going to tell you how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, he was better off if he just said like, send me like $2,000 in iTunes gift card, because trying to get a random person to figure out how to set up a Bitcoin and wallet and then buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's already an uphill battle.
Like, I don't know how to do this. He's going to send it to everyone I know and there's nothing I can do.
Right, exactly. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about all I had for this week. I'd keep it short and sweet. I still got to pack. Our flight leaves at like noon tomorrow, so I'm on my way to Florida. If anyone has any suggestions of fun things to do, we're going to be in the Fort Lauderdale area, which, from what I understand, is fairly close to Miami. And I looked it up because Lady Navio is a huge fan of Dexter, which Dexter, the show, mostly takes place in Florida. So a lot of the show is actually filmed there. So I told her, because I have to work Thursday and Friday. We actually have an office in Florida. And then I'm doing a conference on Saturday. So I told her during the day while I'm working, she should rent a car and go do like a photo tour of all of the Dexter film locate. There's actually a website that has a list of like, yeah, all the locations in Miami and Fort Lauderdale where they filmed. Like his apartment and like where they found the severed hand and where they found the severed foot and like all this stuff. So I was like, yeah, you should just like go down the list and go visit a bunch of those places. But I'm looking forward to Brazilian food. There's a pretty large Brazilian community in Southern Florida. So that's, I'm hoping to tap into that and see if I can find some authentic Brazilian food. But yeah, there's a lot of Cubans there too, of course.
Of course.
But
Cuba's very close.
But yeah,
you can always hit your drop up with the bill. Like, oh, here's how much I spent on food, guys.
No, well, they're giving me an extra $100 on my paycheck because I'm gonna be there for like 3.5 days. Mm-hmm. So it's like $30 a day, I guess, that they give me for food.
Yeah, not bad.
which, I'll probably spend more than that. But at least they,
But it's nice to get something.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're like, yeah, we're flying you out here, and like, it's not like you're gonna go buy groceries. So they did give me a little stipend for each day. And Lady Navio, we decided to. The company didn't pay for it, but we decided to like go ahead and pay for her to fly out and just like. We've never been to Florida, so it's like, hey, you want to take a few days off work and come stay with me? So
Might as well. It's an opportunity.
So that's actually why we're doing the podcast tonight, because we're leaving tomorrow at noon, and I'll be gone till like Sunday. So I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to the East Coast, so this is the furthest east I have ever gone. Up until now, I think the furthest east I've gone was like Illinois or Nashville or somewhere in there. I've never made it this far.
Some of the flyover states.
Yeah. It's one of these days I'll make it out to New York. I have friends that live in New York, and I've just never taken the time to get out there. But
it's a good place.
I know. I need to go.
Went there once, arrived 4 a.m., met a guy. He offered to sell me weed. I was like, oh, no, sir. And he was like, oh, well, nice to meet you. He shook my hand. He welcomed me to New York. And I was like, that's the New York experience right there. And then the second guy offered me weed as well. But then he was like, oh, you want harder stuff? And I was like, oh, this is the real experience.
That's awesome.
Like, I got to get out of here.
They were probably undercover cops trying to bust you.
I don't know. It was 4 a.m. I'm walking Times Square empty. No one's there because it's so early in the morning. And I'm like, what are the odds? Because the way they framed it, it's like, then why are you out here in the morning, like at 4 a.m.? And it's like, why are you out here selling drugs? Like, you could be asleep right now. What are you doing?
Was it pretty empty at that time? I feel like New York is there. I feel like wouldn't there always be? It's so massive. I feel like there'd just be people.
That's what I thought. Yeah, but like, because I took a bus down there, so at the bus station, yeah, it was full of people. But it was 4 a.m.
Why were you there at 4 a.m.?
I took a bus.
Why? But why? Like, what were you? That's just when you showed up?
That's when I showed up. Yeah. So it was 4 a.m. It was Thanksgiving, so it was very cold. So it's probably why most people weren't there. So yeah, when I went to Times Square, it was just empty. So it was very surreal, like seeing all these
I'm sure. Yeah.
And remembering like seeing the floods of people, like seeing it, and then like being there and totally empty, just me.
That's crazy, dude. I couldn't imagine being in Times Square with it just like empty like that. Did you take some pictures or a video or anything? Did you
I shut up. My hands were so cold. I was just like, I just want to go somewhere warm. Because it was freezing temperatures, and me being a dumbass, I'm like, I gotta walk to where I was going in a leather jacket and just a t-shirt. Because I was like, oh, that'll be fine. It was not fine.
Yeah, no, it gets cold there, man. That cold that cuts through. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I'd like to make it out there eventually, but I just haven't had the right opportunity, I guess. Haven't had enough reason. I guess I don't need a reason. I guess I should just plan a trip one of these days and get out there.
It's a nice place.
All right, man. Well, anything else going on in your life?
Yeah, not really. We covered pretty much most of what I was doing in the beginning.
Yeah. Just taxing it up. Yeah. So more wedding stuff probably in the next few months for me. I'm going to try and get back to some streaming, but I feel like every weekend there's just something going on for me lately. And like so when my weekends are full of stuff, that means my weeknights are less free because I have to like shift things around. So I just haven't had as much time to stream, but I'd like to get back on. I've got my backlog is building up again. There's a few games I want to play. I'm really excited for the they announced Hollow Knight 2. I still haven't finished the first Hollow Knight, so I don't know. There's never enough time. Too many games. One of these days. Or I'll just give up on all that and just crush them all.
For an idle game,
it's pretty good.
There's a good amount of stuff you can do in it.
All right, man. Well, thank you for last minute being willing to do a podcast tonight. I will not be on the next couple nights I'll try. I'm gonna try and post some pictures in the IRL channel on the Discord though. And kind of document my adventures. Hopefully Lady Navio takes me up on my offer and we get some cool pictures of Dexter locations. We'll see if I can make that happen. But who's on right now? I think when I was looking earlier, Lars was on. Oh yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Not next week. Is it next week? Yeah, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, we do have a guest lined up. His name is Lars, and we're super excited. He's seems like a really interesting dude. That's his actual Twitch name too, LARZ. It's rare to have a really solid 4-letter Twitch name. So
I feel like all those would have been taken by now.
Yeah, well, maybe he's had it that long. I don't know. But next week we will have a guest. We'll be back to our normal schedule, and it'll be good times, and I'm looking forward to it. So he was on earlier. Let me see if he's still on. I was gonna host him. And yes, he is on. So let's go ahead and we'll do a little raid. Send it over to Lars and say hi. Let him know we're excited to have him on the podcast next week. It's the name of a character on Futurama. Just one of the movies. Oh, Lars is? I mean, Lars is
that character.
Uh-oh. It is indeed. I feel like Lars is fairly... Isn't that like the drummer's name from Metallica? Lars is a somewhat common name, isn't it? But anyway, we'll send it over to Lars. Thanks, anyone who decided to show up on Tuesday. I know it's not the usual night for our podcast. I'll try and get this out sometime. I'm going to be out of town, so I don't know when this is going to go up. If I have some free time to work with Frost, we'll get it up. But I wanted to get one out. Thanks, James. Good luck. Another week of taxing it up. Another week. You got any YouTube stuff? You trying to fit that in at all, or are you too busy right now?
I've received so many game keys in the past 5 days. And it's like I already had 7 other game keys already downloaded. So I'm gonna try and get out something for all of those games, because a lot of these indie companies are like, hey, we took a look at your channel, we saw you played like X game, Y game, so we thought you'd like our game. And I look at it, I'm like, damn, those look good. You researched well. Like the latest one, they were like, hey, we saw you played Minion Masters, and our game is also like a tug of war RTS. And I'm like, damn it, it's my favorite genre.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna have to. I want to do something, but yeah, just like right now, it's just time is so valuable. I don't really have the time to sit down and like do anything specific.
I mean, if you need to hand off some keys, and just saying.
Maybe I'll hit them up. It's like, hey, I can't cover this right now, but I got a friend who also is a big fan of the genre. Maybe I'll send him a key.
You should connect them with. You should just hand them all off to Team Download. I'm sure there's some people in there that would like to do some content.
Yeah, there's a pretty good variety of game keys that I got. Oh, damn. One of them, they were like, hey, we saw that you played Dream Daddy, a daddy dating simulator. So we wanted to send you our dating sim game. It's about LGBTQ couples. And I was like, I appreciate that you sent me this key, but I didn't play Daddy Simulator because I wanted to. But because you were nice enough to send me a key to your game, I'll play it. I might not even make content on it, but I will play it just to give you feedback.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, well, we'll look forward to it then. Hopefully you can get some videos out for those, for all those games. Sitting on your the Minion Masters, the tug of war, whatever one. I'm interested. So
when I looked it up, I was like, damn. That looks solid. It looks exactly like what I remember playing in the StarCraft arcade.
Nice.
So I was like, ooh, that might be the first one I try.
Yeah. Cool. We'll look forward to it. All right, let's send it over to Lars, and thanks for being here, everyone. I hope you have a good night, and we'll be back next week with Lars as a guest.